Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic, wonderful, entertaining, informative, just generally great Three Wells podcast. I hope that's how you all feel. I'm Jason Turner. I am co-founder here at Three Wells and Chief Marketing Officer. And today we have a fantastic, this guy knows, I can't believe how much this guy knows. Cameron Pittman from Weekenders, Prerolls. And we're talking about pre-rolls. For those that don't know, pre-rolls, think of joints that are pre-made, but much, much better. And that's not just a pitch because Cameron's here with us from Weekenders. We're going to get into that. We're going to start easy. We're going to roll into this nice and simply. So we're going to start from the ground up, and then we'll get into all the nitty gritty details and all the differences between joints and pre-rolls and everything that's in the Weekenders product. And we're talking with Cameron today because at Three Wells, we've tried it, we've tested it, we like it, obviously, because candidly, if we didn't like it, Cameron wouldn't be here. That's just how things go at Three Wells. If we don't like the products, we don't talk about them, we don't put them on the site. So, I hope that's a big endorsement right out of the gates there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that for sure. Yeah.
So, enough about me and what's going on. We want to hear about you, Cameron. So give us a quick overview of you and your background and Weekenders and what Weekenders is all about.
Yeah, for sure. So like you said, I'm Cameron. I have been just, dabbling with cannabis since about 2015. I've had the opportunity to help support some other brands, get them to market, and so right now I'm working on Weekenders. I'm the director of field marketing. And simply what that means is I have my ear on the retail level as to what consumers are wanting, and more specifically right now in the pre-roll space.
All right. So you kind of marketing, sales, product liaison.
Yeah, I think it's like a hybrid. It's actually really interesting. You're starting to see a lot more of these titles show up in the cannabis industry, community organizer, community education, right now, like I said, we're titling field marketing. It's a hybrid. I am constantly marketing and selling this product. I manage the stores. So when you walk into a retail space, and you're able to point out and be like, oh, there's Weekenders. That I had a hand in that, or if you're seeing a deal, or if you're seeing, like this podcast, right? We my job is to make sure that, Weekenders is seen and heard, and that people are getting it in their hands.
Good. So, okay, we can't leave this untouched. You gotta love the hat. Where'd you get the hat?
Oh, this? I don't know. I love hats. I love hats. This probably came, I don't know. I'm really not sure, but it's the one I wear to Padres games a lot. The Padres there here. So it matches the jersey, Padres brown. Any chance that I get to not have to do my hair, I'll wear a hat. I like hats.
I'm jealous. I have just the perfectly wrong shaped head and face to wear hats.
For sure.
Oh man, it's a disaster. Hey, anyways, I love the hat. So let's talk about pre-rolls. So I've got your product right here.
Yeah, that's our single. It's our 1 gram.
Yeah. So for people that, and I'll show this in more detail. And by the way, we're going to do a product review of Weekenders, so that'll come up in a little while. But anyway, I'll do a quick just to show people what this is. So on here, there's a plastic sleeve.
It's a tube.
Right? Slide it down. On the top, this is nicely sealed. So that I'm assuming, Cameron, that's for freshness.
And CRP too. So child resistant packaging. Everything that you get when you buy it has to have some sort of way that it might make it a little harder for a kid to open the product.
Yeah, that was hard for me. So what does that say about my maturity? And I'm kidding. It was pretty easy. So
yeah, it says push on there. You push it in and twist the top. That's
what a pre-roll looks like. Just so people have
and even more specifically, a full gram pre-roll. Right. Oh, okay. That's a full gram. You do have smaller pre-rolls out there, and then there's also some larger ones too.
Okay, so let's talk about what a pre-roll is and why a pre-roll is great and what we should know all about pre-rolls and how it compares to a joint too.
Yeah, so I think pre-roll is the the overall kind of category. right? And then you say joints. We classify joints, just kind of as smaller pre-rolls. Like we said, we have that 1 gram. You'll find smaller pre-rolls at maybe 0.3. We have a 0.5 gram as well, smaller pre-roll. So that's kind of the difference there between joint and pre-roll. But pre-rolls are flour, that has been grounded up and pre-rolled for you. So you do not need, a bong or a pipe. You're able to pull it right out of the package and use it without, much other accessories or anything like that.
So I'm pulling this back up because they're, old school joints. When someone says joint, you think of, zigzag papers and a baggie full of weed and, somebody who's got some skill to roll it up makes it, and it's always fat in the middle or loose and falls out.
For sure.
Anyway,
yeah.
But if you look at that,
yeah, it's pretty consistent, right? You need to have a nice even pack in order to make sure that flour burns the way that it should and last. Sometimes you get pre-rolls that burn to the side or aren't always able to keep the flour lit. Those are signs of pre-rolls that maybe you should avoid.
And on the tip there, that's like what, a filter?
Yeah, it's like a little filter. Or to just a basic paper one. You might find out in the market, glass tips. Most things have a filter on them.
Okay.
Pre-roll.
And they vary. So pre-rolls, like anything else, I'm assuming can vary in THC and CBD content and whatnot. Sure. And Weekenders, is there a difference from product to product as far as what's in it?
For Weekenders, absolutely, yeah, and obviously across the board for pre-rolls as well. I think right now the market has a lot of high potency pre-rolls. You walk in there and there are pre-rolls on a lot of shelves that are above 30%, maybe have some keef or some hash, something in them. What kind of sets Weekenders apart is the fact that we are going after a space of a little bit lower THC content. Our flagship products were the Play and the Chill. Those are pre-rolls that one of them has more CBD in it than it does THC. So that one has about 15% CBD and about 5% THC. And then Play is a little more balanced. It's a 1-to-1. So you'll have 10% THC and about 10% CBD for those ones as well. So I think that's what initially set us apart in the market, is that we were not looking to just get people super intoxicated. The goal was to be able to smoke our pre-rolls and still kind of go about your daily existence, and be able to, enhance over intoxicate. That's a line that I like to use a lot when I'm out in the field talking to buyers or consumers.
Okay. But we'd all advocate don't smoke and drive, no matter what. Don't
Absolutely.
Smoke and drive.
Yeah. No, that's not what we're advocating. But
yeah.
If you're at home, and you maybe are choosing between a relaxing, couple beers, while you hang out, or maybe a pre-roll, we want to make sure we have those options, for people who want to use their time to relax and not have too high of THC.
So you alluded to that you got 3 products in your lineup, right? 3 lines, meaning.
So we have 3 blends.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about the 3 blends and what makes each blend different?
For sure. Yeah. So I'm going to start with Chill, which is our highest in CBD. That, highest in CBD, it's called Chill. It's our indica blend. So that's CBD flower blended with indica flower to kind of create that ratio that we're seeing with the THC and the CBD. Then you have Play. Play is our sativa blend. That one is that more balanced one, like we talked about. Sativa flower blended with CBD flower. That one is, the names help you understand a little bit when you should be using these products. Chill is definitely great for inflammation, needing to sleep, pain management, or just a general relaxation. You're in for the night and you want to hang out. That play is definitely a product that's a little bit more geared towards, maybe some daytime use. You want to go outside and garden, you're not able to sleep right now. Or your grandkids are coming over and you want to be able to, engage with them, and deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with, why you consume cannabis.
Okay. So a minute ago, you said something, and I want to, for those that are just entering the space, you used two terms, hash and keef.
Yeah.
That other products have hash and keef in them. So
sure.
Can you answer a couple questions attached to that? One is, what are those? So we all know. And two is, why would I want to avoid hash and keef in a pre-roll?
Yeah, so hash and keef it's a concentrate. It's a concentrated form of cannabis. Hash is or keef traditionally, right? If you have your grinder, or you touch some flour and there's some leftover little residue on your fingertips, a whole bunch of that is keef. And that's sprinkled into some of the pre-rolls. And what keef is it holds all the good, I want to say goodness, holds all of the reason why we get high when we smoke cannabis, or definitely when we smoke it. And so you're just getting a large concentrated volume of THC. And, that's not always what I'm looking for, maybe what you're looking for. We alluded to kind of joints and things of the past. A lot of what I hear is, flower is a lot higher in THC content than it used to be, back when I smoked it. And that's, maybe some people not wanting to smoke flower, right? Versus this edibles, because what they're seeing is a lot of high THC, and when they smoke it just gets them really high, maybe puts them to sleep. You don't really get the fullness of the plant when you're, just smoking the flower versus when you're smoking the flower and it has some other stuff added to it, whether it's, concentrate or terpenes or anything else that they might add to pre-rolls. Our pre-rolls are just going to be plant, flower material, and that's it. Good old fashioned joint. Like we talked about.
Right. So, all right, for the uninitiated, obviously with a pre-roll, you smoke it.
Yep.
Edible, you eat it. I mean, we all get that, but what's the difference? And when should, people in the audience, when should they look to a pre-roll versus an edible, and why?
Yeah, I think there's a time and place for everything, right? I think that as we look at this plant, we have to realize that there will be times when we maybe need to eat it. There'll be times maybe when we need to smoke it. There are times we need to rub it on our bodies. But yeah, having an understanding of when and how and where is super important in order to not get a bad experience. Someone is like, oh, eat this edible gummy, and you're trying to go, walk on the beach, and maybe that just wasn't what you were ready for. Because edibles are going to be, I just say it's a longer commitment. You are attached to this plant THC for a lot longer than when you smoke it. When you're eating an edible, it might stay in your system for 12 hours, kind of just depending on your body type. When you're smoking it, it might be in your system for maybe 3 to 4 hours. It's definitely more when you're smoking it, less of a body high or a complete, edibles traditionally make a lot of people sleepy, right? It has to process through your liver. So yeah, and I just think that you have more control when you are smoking a joint versus when you're eating an edible. Edibles are great for, maybe taking an hour before you go to bed, 2 hours before you go to bed. So that way it sits in your system, help keep you asleep longer, at night. Maybe longer car rides, you're going to be in the car for 4 or 5 hours. All right, let's put an edible in me. So that way, my body is not as impacted by, this trip. But joints are great when you just need a quick relief, but you don't have the time commitment, that you might need with an edible.
So So let's talk about, let's take the next step, pre-rolls. When should we use it?
Yeah.
Now, you recently had a car accident. And thankfully,
For sure.
you're okay and, you're
Yeah.
looking good. But before we started recording, you had mentioned that you were thankful for cannabis. And car crashes isn't the only reason you would smoke a pre-roll. Let's get that clear. So 2 parts of that question. When should they? And tell us about your experience in smoking pre-rolls.
Yeah, for sure. I just try to take the approach that plant medicine is better than, some pharmaceutical medicine that people, doctors try to give you. If there's an alternative in plant form, that can maybe do the exact same thing, I'll try to look for that. So there's a lot of inflammation kind of going on, obviously, when I grip the wheel and stuff. So being able to smoke some flower that's high in CBD, helped, ease, some of that inflammation. And inflammation is often what kind of causes us to feel bad or, have some of those aches and pains that we're feeling.
Right.
And I forgot the second part, that was how I used it for, after that crash, but I think there's another part to that question. Right?
Yeah. Generally, when should someone turn to a pre-roll for what would they be seeking to do? And pre-roll would be the great solution for what symptom or what activity or what feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the best kind of answer to that, right? Because everyone's different. So this plant, when you smoke, it's going to make you feel generally, similar, but obviously our bodies are going to react differently to it. So I just think if you are somebody who is dealing with a lot of pharmaceuticals, right? Like ask your doctor, say, is there an alternative to what I'm doing that I can find with cannabis? But I'd say, use it when you have a little bit more leisure time, right? Like a walk in the park is nice, right? It's not necessarily something that is a hindrance, I guess you can say. It's a lot quicker. You can use it without having to have a lot of stuff, like a pipe or a bong. I don't know if I'm answering your question right, but
no, you are. It's what I hear is one, convenience.
for sure.
And if you want something convenient, you want something that's going to come on a little faster and be gone a little faster.
Yeah.
Pre-roll. If, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing you saying, all the same rules of generally for cannabis use apply to pre-rolls, meaning
Absolutely.
you have a higher CBD content. You're going to, it balances you out and it may relax you a little bit more, helps with inflammation. But also the entourage effect, which is simply making sure that you have CBD and THC combined in whatever you're taking, because then it not only helps your body, but it helps the state that you're looking to achieve. Is that a pretty good summation?
Absolutely. And I think what's nice, at least for me, about, pre-rolls versus some of these other products as well, is like we talked about, I don't like processed medicine, right? So edibles goes through some sort of process to make it what it is, right? They extract it and they touch chemicals on it, and then they put it in some sugar and they make this edible, while, a pre-roll for me is just a little bit more straight to the point, straight to the plant. I think I'm going to get the best benefit that, in that moment that I'm supposed to get from that plant, by smoking it versus consuming it as it's been processed.
Right. So let's address the elephant in the room, which some may say, to me, it's neither here nor there, but some may say, hey, but it's smoking. Yeah. We keep hearing, don't smoke, don't smoke. What's your response? What does Weekenders say about the whole smoking versus eating?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think at the end of the day, everything in moderation, right? Like if you're having health problems and you shouldn't be smoking, then that's probably not the best route to go. I think that's the stigma of smoking is definitely related to, tobacco and cigarettes and things like that, which our joints are just flower material, right? There's no other chemicals, there's no other stuff that's going into our product, to kind of create additional carcinogens, things that might be harmful for you. Yeah.
So I think, would it be fair to say, Cameron, look, decouple cigarettes and your joints in particular?
Correct.
Because, and I'm going to repeat something that you said, but I think it's important that people understand that a cigarette has a lot of additives, a lot of chemicals. Right. They're designed to get you addicted. And I'm not judging cigarette smokers or cigarettes. Do as you please. I don't smoke cigarettes. I never have, never will. But cannabis is different. Especially in your case, is because when we researched your product, and that's why you're here, because it does what it says, and it only has in it what you say is in it, which means there's not a lot of additives, so there's not a lot of chemicals. It's just Mother Nature's plants.
And that starts like straight from just the growing practices, even, right? You'll find pre-rolls that are grown indoors, and they use some materials for that, and then you'll find pre-rolls that are grown from the sun, in organic fertilizer that's made by a farmer who just loves growing plants, and we're able to kind of harness all of that, and we also source from legacy farmers, as they would be called, or farmers that have traditionally been growing in Humboldt or the Emerald Triangle, because that's one of the most fertile places to grow some sun-grown cannabis. And so we want to make sure that when we're sourcing our flower, we also do it in a way that we're taking into account even how it's grown, not just how it's processed and packaged after it's grown.
So let me put let me do my best to put a fine point on that, because you said a lot, and I think it's worth repeating because it's important. So from what I understand, when you say legacy farmer, so you get from a legacy farmer, it means someone who's been growing for years and knows what they're doing, and may have been in the gray market before and now have come
could be growing for 20 years.
Yeah. So I heard that point, which is great, because all these guys they know what they're doing, men and women, I should just say, guys broadly. And so I hear that. I hear people that have made a living and having to live in the gray area are now able to do purely legit, make a good living for their family, etc. So that's one of the things. The other thing I heard you say is that you work with your growers, and they use natural fertilizers and sunlight, and they're grown outdoors. So is it fair for me and anyone who's listening to equate that to, okay, if I'm going to eat a strawberry, I have an organic strawberry that's, holistically grown and sourced from the right people who are, doing the right things, or I have a strawberry that's in a package that's grown chemically, sprayed, pesticides, etc. I can make a choice. I may not care and pick up the pesticide-laden strawberry that's not organic, or I could go with something that's organic and I trust, and I know I'm not putting things in my body I shouldn't. So I correlate what you said is Weekenders is the organic version of the strawberry, and many others, not all, but many others are the chemically laden, fast production in a plastic thing. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that we're creating a consumer market, right? This is going to be a $1 billion industry at the end of all of this, if not more, right? And so I think first thing I want to hit on is your plant material that you're going to find in any legal dispensary is actually more stringently tested for pesticides and things like that than a blueberry that you'll pick up off the supermarket. The supermarket blueberries can have more pesticides on paper than any cannabis product can have, just kind of the way the state laws are laid out. So, that's an interesting point, is that, we care about this plant. We want to make sure that when you are consuming it, you're getting it in as purest form as you can. And other people are wanting just to make some quick dollars, or they're trying to cut corners, or there are other ways to mass produce this, and you might be getting pre-rolls that are made with trim, or pre-rolls that are made with shake. You're not getting a whole nug bud experience when you're smoking that pre-roll. You might even be getting a blend of 4 or 5 different trims or shakes that they throw in this pre-roll, and just put a name on it. So I think that with us, you can always know that you are going to be getting just quality flower the way that it was meant to be smoked.
You said another term. I want to make sure everybody knows what you said. Shake. What's shake?
Shake. Yeah, shake is like, if you ever kept flour in a jar, and then at the end of all your nugs being gone, there's some, mess at the bottom of the jar, like that's shake. It just kind of the leftover material, of after you smoked or packaged all the other stuff. So when you're mass producing this stuff, there's a lot of that left over, so you're getting some of the plant, but you're not getting the full bud that you would normally be smoking. And I think that impacts the high and impacts the experience for sure.
And you said another one, nug. What's a nug?
Yeah, nug is just like the flower, the one piece of bud that you might have. If you ever bought an eighth, you maybe have 6 to 10 little nugs in there of flower. And so we're just grinding that up and throwing it in your pre-rolls, versus just using the leftover product from that.
Right. I used to market the Grateful Dead for years. And one of the big sort of meccas is Nugsnet. So I always got a kick out of that for all you deadheads that are watching.
Yeah.
All right. So average consumer walks into, no, this isn't a bad joke. Average consumer walks into a dispensary. So Cameron, what should they do? What should they ask for? How should they approach the sales associate or bud tender or whatever their local dispensary calls that person?
Yeah, for sure.
What to do.
Yeah, I think first doing your experience before you walk into the store, right? There are definitely going to be some things that you need to understand before you walk into that store. I think some of the key questions you want to ask is like, how is this grown? How is this indoor flower? Is this outdoor flower? That is something that you should look for. I think letting them know how you feel or how you want to feel. I want this product for when I'm about to go to bed, or I want this product so I can go out and garden and not be as sore, while I'm doing it. They'll be able to guide you to the right product. And then just kind of depending on your own consumer habits, right? We all spend money and we value this dollar. And so you can ask them who profits from this? Who are the CEOs or the founders? Are they, suits and ties, that are just entering this space to, make a little bit of money? Are they people who, understand this plant and love it for what it is? And those are the questions at least that I look for. You can definitely ask about potency. How high is the THC in this? You're going to find, naturally occurring flower tends to, be between, 18 and 28 at the highest. You might find some strains that are a little higher than that, but, if you're looking at 30, 40, 50%, your next question should be like, is there concentrate in this? Is there oil? Is this just the flower? Or is there other stuff in that product?
Okay. So, and then I assume that the biggest question you should ask is, where's Weekenders?
Yeah, where's Weekenders?
Where's the Weekender shelf?
Yeah, for sure. But I think one of the easiest is Ease, right? There, you can go on your phone and there's an app to be able to get it delivered, to wherever you are. But depending on where you're at, we're in San Diego, we're in LA, we're in San Francisco, we're in Sacramento. So we're in San Jose. And we got to spread across the state. You can definitely go to our website and find that little store locator, and that will definitely kind of shoot you to a nearest retailer that you can find us in for sure.
Okay. And we'll put your URL on the screen here. And also you started Three Wells. We have all the product info and you can reach us and ask us any questions. So with that, cost, is there a general range of your products and what do they cost at retail?
Yeah, our products you should find on the shelves probably anywhere between $12 and $14 for our singles, our 1 gram joints, and anywhere between about $45 is our average cost for our pack of pre-rolls. You'll get 7 half-gram joints. It's an eighth of flower, in the packs, and that one's about $45.
There's the pack. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah,
it's green, so it thinks it's a green screen.
I got him right here.
Cameron Vanna White.
Yeah, it actually worked out pretty well.
All right, Cameron. Any last things you want us all to know about either Weekenders or pre-rolls in general?
Yeah, I just think that if it's an avenue that you haven't explored, I definitely think that Weekenders is a good start to that. You can kind of keep going deeper if you like to, but I just think it's important that we touch every area of this plan. So I think pre-rolls are an important aspect.
So here's some big things I took away, because you were great with sharing so many things. Is like specific to Weekenders, and you can apply this to other your competitors as well as to what people should be looking for. But I applaud Weekenders specifically because of the approach you're taking. And what I mean by all that is it's grown outdoors.
Absolutely.
Indoors, that's all great, but then you risk mold and you risk a whole bunch of other things that could get into the plant. So
it's not sustainable either. We got to protect this environment. So let's try to grow outdoors as much as you can. Agreed.
Plus, you're using organic materials to actually grow the plant from the get-go, meaning the fertilizers and whatnot. The farmers you work with, you take care of the farmers, and they're, these are legit businesses with families, and you're helping to support and sustain them. And then the product itself is all natural, so you're not adding the keef and the hash and all the other bits and pieces and shake. It's the flower. So you're getting everything Mother Nature intended.
Absolutely.
Nothing more, nothing less. Plus the fact that it's got a good balance, and between the three being chill, drift, and play, you can decide what state you want to be in, which is nice.
Yeah.
You just make it nice and easy. So all of that is great. The thing that I didn't know, and that I really appreciate, about you guys, is your love of the plant. Which everything you said today, Cameron, you came out loud and clear that you have this love and respect for the plant and what it can do for human beings and the world overall. So thank you. I enjoyed that, and I didn't know your perspective on it, which was great.
Yeah, I think it, translates to what we're doing too. Even just the plant itself is such a diverse piece of nature, right? And we want our business to reflect that, right? So even just down to the leadership, we have women owners, BIPOC owners. We want to make sure that our leadership and our approach to even how we enter the market, is as diverse as the plant, and I think the last thing that I want to continue to do is use this the platform that we have, for some positive social change, right? And we are doing that as a company, month after month. We have different campaigns, to support, whether it's food banks or, voting rights, whatever it might be. Every month we're looking for something to be able to, use what we're doing here in the cannabis space, to impact the greater good, so.
Fantastic. So people want to reach you, they go to weekenderscannabis.com.
Yep.
What are your social handles, or anywhere else they can reach you?
Yeah. So Instagram, at Weekenders_cannabis. That's definitely a platform that we use a lot. Our website, Cameron at weekenderscannabis.com. That's me. So if you have any questions, or, you're looking, you can definitely reach out to me. My job is, to be a support to the market, and you all include that. But I think those are the best two places to start for sure. You'll be able to find a lot of info about us.
Cameron, thanks. Appreciate it so much. It was good hearing all these things about Weekenders that I didn't know, and Prerolls too. So definitely check out Weekenders. We think it's great. And by the way, we're not being paid to say it's great. This is us at Three Wells just doing what we do, which is to look out for great products and bring them to everybody that we can. So Cameron, with that, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. See you later.
You bet.
Hopefully we chat again soon.